Hi y'all, Risha here with Pecan Creek Ranch, and today I want to talk to you about some activities that you can do for individuals or for groups in your equine assisted services practice. Let's do it. All right, so for this video, we're going to bust into our Rhythm of Life activity cards that we created 2-3 years ago. I don't remember. But we created these to help us incorporate rhythm, give us some ideas for sessions sometimes when we get stuck with understanding what to do with a client. And these are all based on the neurobiology of trauma and how to regulate nervous systems through co-regulation, through rhythm, through predictability, and through relationship. So I want to show you today how you can use these cards or anything like this really to come up with an idea when you're stuck about what kinds of activities that you want to do with your clients that day. Now, everyone has a different way of practicing in equine assisted services, so you're going to have to adapt these to your particular needs. I'm just going to try to give you an example of what we might do for a session. So let's say that we have a group that's going to come, and this group is focused on we want to help them focus on some inner reflection and some self-regulation, maybe even a little self-compassion, kind of connecting with themselves. This card deck comes with a little manual, and in this we talk about the cards and what different kinds of skills are addressed in the cards so that you can use them to come up with your own practice with your clients. So let's say, okay, so the goal of this group we have on here in this manual, it has a goal of connection and attunement to self, and then it lists some of the cards that would help achieve this goal. So let's pull some of those cards and see what we come up with. Okay, so I went ahead and picked some of the cards. This isn't all the cards that are listed under that goal, but there's some that we can use. And so I want to kind of discuss how we might use these to design activities for the day for individuals or even for groups. So let's start with individuals, okay? So this first one is Rhythm of Reflection. I believe we have another YouTube video that shows me and Jen Weiss doing this one together, so you can see how that works on an individual level. But this one says, pick an instrument and play out how regulated you felt during the week. Okay, so you can use this card by just doing this with your client. But when you look at this card, this also gives you a hint about maybe some of the things that you need to discuss and talk about with your client before you do it. So maybe this helps lead you into what does it even mean to be regulated? So let's talk about what that means, regulation. How do we experience regulation within our own nervous system, within our own body, within a group setting? So if you're starting a group, this could be an activity that you aim for during the group, but it may not be where you start that day with the group, because you're going to probably need to give them a little bit of background on what does that even mean to be regulated? How do we know if we are? How do we experience others when they're regulated or dysregulated? And this could even turn into one entire session, just this card. Hey y'all, Editing Risha here, and I just wanted to make a note that at this point you could go ahead and incorporate your equines into the session. Observing the herd can give us lots of opportunity to observe regulation, observe dysregulation, observe how either impact the individual or the group, how watching dysregulated horses impacts our own nervous system, how watching regulated horses impacts our nervous system, and then we can apply that to how it relates to humans and how we experience regulation and dysregulation around each other. And you can also do this activity around the horses depending on your group and your herd. Our horses are used to the instruments. They tend to engage with them depending on the rhythms that are being played and the energy that comes from the instruments and the people playing them. So that's something to keep in mind. If you do use the instruments around your animals, you may want to spend some time playing with them yourself so that you can see how they respond and react, and it won't be a surprise in your sessions. Oh, and let's talk about instruments real quick. So instruments can be anything, and I've pulled out a few here for you to see. So we have, it can be something as obvious as something like this, like a drum. Okay, not everybody likes that sound, so you want to have some other instruments available. Sometimes we also like these. These are boom whackers, and they each come with a different note, so you can play them on yourself. Gives you some bilateral stimulation and some sensory input that way. Okay, you can play them individually and get different notes. I don't know how much is coming through on the mic. Or you can play them on different things around you. Feed bucket. Okay, you could play it on the pin, on the pipes, on any round pin or fencing that you have. You can even do it lightly on each other, depending on how close your group is, or what your relationship is with the client, or what their relationship is with their family members, or even with their equine. Okay, equines can be incorporated into this one activity as well. We have had clients that have used these once they've developed a good relationship with their equine, gently on different parts of their equine's body. And it's really interesting how regulating it can be when they have that connection and attunement, and how dysregulating it can be when they don't have that. And that in itself creates a really wonderful equine-assisted therapy session or learning session. Okay, and if you have, let's say you have clients who are sensitive to noise, you can use something like this to create rhythm. This is a Hoverman sphere. You can get them on Amazon. I'll try to provide a link to it below in the description. And you can create rhythm like this. So let's say I had a really awful week. Something really awful happened to me and it was just super chaotic. Then my expression of it may look something like this. Yeah, that feels chaotic to me. Okay, so you can see how this can turn into the beginning of a group session. It could turn into the beginning of a session with an individual before they even go out to interact with any of the equines. It could be used with the family so that everyone can kind of check in with each other without having to talk about things that maybe are too vulnerable or difficult to talk about at the moment. But it allows us to be seen and to have some expression of that. So then you can move on to the next card. In this group of activities, let's say that gets you through about 30 minutes of your group. Well, let's see what we can do with the next one. So this one is pick an instrument and play the rhythm of how you would like your day, week, or other activity to go. So then the next thing you can do, now we've all heard each other, we've listened to how our weeks have gone, now we can talk about how would we like this group to go? If it had a rhythm, what would it feel like? What would that rhythm feel like? And it can help us all connect to and potentially eventually sync up into a nervous system state that is going to be conducive to our growth and healing together as a group. And again, you can use your body as an instrument. You can use your voice. So you don't have to have, if you have a group, you don't have to have like a million different instruments to use. Okay, you can have one or two and you can demonstrate, and then everyone can pick instruments. This could even be the first thing that you do is say, let's go find an instrument. Let's explore out here together and find different things that we can use to express ourselves with rhythm. Okay, so hopefully you can start to see how these can be used to even you could create an entire curriculum for a group based off of these cards with some of the guidance from the manual that we provide. So if you're interested in learning more about this, go to our website. I've included a link below, and because it is close to Thanksgiving, and of course, you know, the American, I don't know if you want to call it holiday or obsession of Black Friday is coming up, we're going to have these on discount for a Black Friday sale. We've got a few left in inventory, and I'm really wanting to get rid of them because I'm thinking about switching suppliers that print these for us. So I'd like to get rid of what we already have. So there is going to be a big discount on these, and I will include the link and the code below if this is something you're interested in. And as always, thank you so much for watching this. Please share this with someone who you think might benefit from it, and take care of each other.